So Ethan had Keffals on his podcast, and I'm curious to watch it. Bro, I don't know too much about Keffals, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't understand why she gets so much hate. Like, I've only seen a little bit of what she's done. I saw her like overreact a little bit on Ricky Berwick, but it wasn't good, but it wasn't like the worst thing in the world. And then I saw like her go after the Quickie Farms. Is that what it's? Kiwi Farms. Kiwi Farms? Right? And get that shut down in some capacity. And then like that Kiwi Farm sounds not great. You should talk to Destiny about Keffals. But I wouldn't want to do that. I have to experience it myself. Somebody telling me like secondhand what happened, I can't really do it. So anyway, she got the Kiwi Farm shut down. It sounds like a bad website. And it seems like some people like to just kind of dislike her because it's like the trend. People do that a lot. So maybe I'm wrong, but like I have to see it for myself. Also, I know that the Kiwi Farms, apparently that comes from the Quickie Farms, which comes from, this is my understanding, that comes from 4chan. I mean, excuse me, not 4chan. That comes from harassing Christian. It was like the Quickie Farm, like the CWC forums. And it got turned into Kiwi Farms because like Christian mispronounced it or something. Listen, I watched 63 of the comprehensive Christian documentary, right? So I know a little bit what I'm talking about. Could be a little bit wrong. So I don't know, man. I'm just saying, it doesn't sound like a bad thing that she got them taken down. I don't know. I'll have to, maybe one day I'll find out what people makes them hate her so much. Maybe she's just a little sensitive or something. But let's watch.
Damage your hairline, you think?
Is the hairline okay?
Yeah, is that,
bro?
Oh, shit, dude.
This is really like a background on the Kiwi Farm. We're gonna start with that one first.
Here's where it was hurting. You see any?
All right, we're gonna skip through.
Just give you a little bit of background here.
There we go. That's much
better. It was
better.
founded in 2013 by this dude, Joshua Noel Moon, who was a former 8chan admin. And it was launched with the express purpose of harassing this person, Christine Chan, who I don't know if you know anything about.
Do you not? Oh, Ethan, you got to know a little bit about Christian.
About them.
That would take a whole podcast to get into.
I mean,
that would take like 5 podcasts. Let me be absolutely honest with you, because Christian is not a good person, but it is, of my opinion, absolutely, especially after watching 63 of the comprehensive histories, that the relentless harassment on Christine or Chris, you know, depending on who really cares, is one of the reasons why they ended up doing what they did to their mother. I'm not trying to be that guy. I'm not trying to blame everybody for it, but they were horrible. It's one of those things where every single woman that Christian ever talked to was always a troll, and I think it completely assassinated any relationship that they had with any person. And like, I'm not saying it wouldn't have happened if not for the relentless online bullying, but like, to be honest with you, I mean, like, if you don't watch episode 10 of the comprehensive Christian thing, and you will be, it is horrible. The things that these people do to Chris Dean is horrible. So I'm just being honest with you. It's part of it. It's part of it.
A real interesting person who ended up going to jail for like S-ing his own mom, right?
Yeah, their own mom, yeah,
or her, she,
whatever.
Yeah,
if somebody, it's not that big of a deal, but I'm just, you know, of course you're canceled for being transphobic, Ethan.
Anyway, they branched out from that and they started targeting. I feel like they're equal opportunity. I feel like they just hate everybody, but they say the worst things. It's like, we want you to unalive yourself.
Yeah.
They are just the most vile. They had a page on me that was like 500 pages long. It was all just, you know, anti-Semitism, shit like that. Hate. You glanced. I never looked at it. What'd you see there, Dan?
I don't know what it said in modern times. I remember, I forget exactly. There was like a period where we were getting brigaded a lot, and we were able to trace it back to that website.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and this was like 3 years ago or something. And so at that time, your page was maybe like 100 pages, but then as we were looking into the story, I had heard from somebody that it had ballooned to several hundred pages.
Well, that's excellent. I'm a big boy over there, but
okay.
I don't think I need to be flattered, because it seems like
Did it get shut down, or did it just get like relocated to something else? Like, I don't know exactly which one it was, but didn't people say like it got shut down from Cloudflare, but it's still on something else in some capacity? I don't really know.
Every public figure has a big ass insane page.
Most people that were popular on the internet had, to some degree. Yeah, you certainly were not the biggest target by any means.
But
Alright.
I think anyone who
Well, I mean, you are pretty fat, Ethan. Maybe you were the biggest target. just a little joke, just a little obesity joke. I'm fatter.
has like any kind of minority status or some sensitive issue, they go after it. Like Keffals is trans. They have a specific chip on the shoulders, it seems like, against queer and trans people. I'm Jewish.
True. I mean, who wouldn't? Let's be honest here. I'm just kidding.
So that they targeted. And
Okay.
it's really incredible. The site is full of right-wing trolls, doxing, swatting, and IRL harassment. Was not only condoned, but
I wonder if it is actually full of like right-wing trolls, or if it's full of trolls and like it's just easier to like call them right-wing as like a curse word. You know what I mean? Genuine question.
encouraged by the admins of the site. They even had a guide in regards to harassing trans people. It was calculated, psychotic,
Wow.
and designed to
Jesus.
inflict maximum pain. I mean, look at this
That's honestly horrible. Where could you find? I'm just kidding. I'm going a little too hard on the jokes.
shit. This is the
That's
guide
pretty
Kiwi
fucked.
Farms published with regards to harassing trans people.
Oh wait, hold on. Write this down. I thought I paused it. I wanted to like see what they actually said to see how horrible it is. You're gonna need their dead name. Jesus, that's pretty fucked up. Okay.
This is the guide Kiwi Farms published with regards to harassing
I feel like you probably shouldn't have showed this. I'm curious now to see how fucked up it is. You probably shouldn't have signal boosted it. This was a guide on Kiwi Farms published with regards to harassing trans people. It's cultivated, psychotic, and designed to cause the maximum amount of pain to people
Trans
as
people.
possible. So yeah, you want to get their dead names. Always cause the most amount of butthurt to any of these people. The outcasts in the trans community are really sensitive having their dead name out. And as much as I have issues with the TRS, the naming websites have already been caught. Okay. Wow. Wait, is this a website that's dedicated to like finding people's dead names if they're trans? That's fucked up.
incredible. They were saying use their dead to harassing trans people.
Number 2, if they have a GoFundMe account before, or what, if they have had a GoFundMe account before, or for whatever reason they might have deleted it, definitely try to find it and make it known as a threat if they have not or had one. A lot of these Rat King members are heavily dependent on having some kind of GoFundMe or Patreon account of some other kind of means of begging for whatever reason. Okay, that's kind of gross. Okay.
Pretty incredible. They were
If you can find their docs and posting it somewhere right at the top of the OP, great. Docs them, dead name them, find out if they're asking for money. You know, a lot of times people will ask for money because, well, trans people, because their surgeries are expensive. Careful to figure out who they're associated with and who they are friends with. They're all part of some network. Wow. So after you take them down, figure out who they're associated with so you can take them down, because you might find more trans people to harass. Incredible. What a horrible piece of shit fucking asshole.
saying use their dead name, figure out who they're friends with, find their docs and post it.
How is it okay for this website to even exist? Like,
Well, I
Yeah, I
guess it
don't
doesn't
know.
now, so-
Ultimately, I think it's kind of a loophole because websites that host content aren't responsible from some legal doctrine for the posters. And if he's protecting so there was actually an incident in New Zealand, the Christchurch shooting.
yeah,
That's the guy who live streamed it and went into a mosque.
yeah.
And they kept reposting the video there. And the New Zealand government said, yo, you got to take this shit down. And also, we want the name of the people who's posting this. And they said, we're not going to give you the name. Fuck you, blah, blah, blah. They went on this whole thing. And so they got banned in the whole country of New Zealand.
Oh, okay.
So they've also actually, they've driven at least 3 people that we know of to unaliving themselves.
Wow.
Wow.
I mean, this is a pit of hell, man. It really is. Kiwi.
I think I saw Destiny question one of the people, like, if they actually took their own life, because there was no evidence of it, but they hadn't posted in like however many years. I mean, they might have actually done it, or they might have just went offline. But that's kind of like the weird skepticism to have, where it's like, okay, so this person, I don't know, if they made like a really I don't want to say dramatic post, but like a post that was like, oh, like life sucks kind of a thing, and then they never posted again. It's like weird to question if they actually took their own life. But
Docs Chloe Sagal in 2013. They harassed her and everyone connected to her for 5 years. Near the end, she expressed unaliving herself on Facebook.
yeah, and then she never
Kiwi
posted
Farms,
anything.
Kiwi Farms reported her Facebook page, got her suspended, and weeks later she did unalive herself.
Wow.
Julie Terryberry, a Canadian woman, died of unaliving herself in 2016 following sustained harassment from Kiwi Farm users. Following Terry Farm's death, Joshua Moon, he's the owner of the website, posted a note on forum claiming that Kiwi Farms and its users had no responsibility. Wait, is he the owner or is it Near? Or...
No, Near is one of the victims.
Okay.
No, the
Near's the right.
Null. They both start with N. Their names. So yes, but
Near
Null
is the trans
owner.
person who explicitly blamed them.
Yes.
In their unalive note. Near, who's a non-binary, said that they had endured lifelong bullying, but the abuse had recently come from Kiwi Farms had made the harassment orders of magnitude worse. Near stated that they and their friends had been doxxed and goaded into unaliving themselves by members of the website, and that Near had been mocked for being autistic, and they eventually did unalive themselves. And they left a note, which I don't know if it's included here, but I remember they
so sad.
they explicitly named Kiwi Farms and said, "I hope that someday this website gets shut down." If you guys have an excerpt of that, that'd be interesting. About the New Zealand, so this guy, the owner of the website, this goes on to the Christchurch thing. He said to New Zealand when they asked him to take down the video, he said, "I don't give a single solitary fuck what Section 50 of your," he uses the F slur laws, say about sharing your email. Fuck you, fuck your shit, whole country. Kiwi Farms has nothing to do with New Zealand. Whatever, yada, yada, yada.
Okay.
So this guy, Noel, this is him, by the way. You fucking handsome devil, huh?
Young.
This is the owner. Is this a
Sorry. I didn't know what to expect. Okay.
recent picture? Yeah, he's very
No,
young.
that's probably an old picture. I'm not sure.
I wonder if like there's a Kiwi Farms Noel page. Did they have a page on him? That'd be great.
I don't know.
Kind of interesting though.
Well, he owned the website, so he could probably delete that.
This, of course, as they say, as I always like to point out, the master race, my friends.
Yep.
Nope,
This
white
is what
people.
this is what we
Absolutely.
want.
Okay.
Is this the only pictures of him? Yeah, this guy's a fucking psycho piece of shit. Yeah, he's a bad dude. Very bad dude. Unlike 4chan, where administrators have little discretion over the harassment campaigns, Moon's power over Kiwi Farm is different. Moon himself was a frequent poster and moderator of Kiwi Farms under the username Null. Kiwi Farms is extremely centralized, with Josh Moon right at the top, deciding who is targeted and who's not. He can delete any thread for any reason. So he's been basically, here's Keffals calling him out. Joshua Moon is currently lying about one of the unalive victims on his site, faking their death and going into hiding. It's important for him to do this since Near's suicide letter explicitly blamed him and his
What I
website
need to do here.
indirectly in his death. Yada, 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 whatever. The guy's a piece of shit. So Keffals, by the way, the pit where the story goes is that Keffals
Let me open this up.
was victorious where none other could. She got it offline. She started a campaign to totally shut down this website, and it seems like permanently. Why were they targeting her? So let's see. She was accused by Kiwi Farms of being a pedophile and groomer, which is kind of like what they say about all trans people, right?
Right.
So the reason that people like, we'll call it some people will say that the trans people, because they just don't like trans and like gay people and whatnot, so they'll just say it. Other people will say it because Keffals talks about how she wants to provide hormones to like young people. Now, here's the thing. Like, it's like underage people. Here's the thing. I think that it's probably a really complicated conversation to have about it. From my perspective, I don't think anybody should be getting any hormones. I mean, I don't think that people should be getting them underage, but especially without some kind of like a medical guidance. That's the biggest one. There needs to be some kind of like medical guidance there. That being said, from her perspective, it's going to be more like, well, like I'm trans and like I would have been like very upset if I wasn't able to get my, like, you know, my hormones and whatnot. And so like I understand what it's like to be somebody that it doesn't have access or isn't able to get access to you know, to different hormones and other, you know, what's it called, gender affirming care. I don't know, man. I understand that like in more like conservative states it's probably more difficult for people to transition. I'm just incredibly apprehensive about anybody going on any type of hormone therapy or anything before they're 18, but then also without like a doctor's diagnosis and without like actual, you know what I mean? Like this can be incredibly irresponsible. I don't think that she's a groomer for that at all. I'm just saying that, like, you know, it's an uncomfortable topic, but
They claim that she ran a Discord server that had minors doing sexual stuff.
okay.
Keffals obviously denies that. We'll ask her about it. They additionally have honed
Never heard
on to
that
the fact
before.
that Keffals has directed people to homemade hormones.
Yeah.
So
I wonder if
they
he
started
asked,
a campaign against her, saying that
I wonder if he asked her about that, because I wonder. I truly wonder what Ethan's perspective on that is. I guess he's never said anything, but I mean, I don't know. I would get uncomfortable with that. I wonder what his actual perspective is.
she's like a pedophile and stuff, and I think they were harassing her to the level of doxing her. People were showing up to her house. I mean, what was the
Swatted.
Yeah, why don't you bring her in? I'll ask her about it.
Yep.
She's
Okay.
on the line.
Stand by.
Swatted, and then eventually she had to move out of the country,
Wow.
and they still found her. It's insane. You got to see this.
I think one of the criticisms on Keffals, it's an interesting one, is that you know, she was talking about how she's like she was like afraid for her life and stuff, and she wanted to escape, which makes perfect sense. I get it because she was getting doxxed, and then she's like, "I'm gonna do an IRL stream." It's like, why would, like, you should really, if you're that afraid, you really shouldn't be talking about doing IRL streams. I feel like that's probably the most dangerous type of stream you could possibly do. You're just gonna walk around and stream like you're like, unfortunately kind of putting your target on your back there. You should really be careful with that kind of stuff. I think Ice Poseidon was like a really good example of why you probably shouldn't do that kind of shit, especially if like you're really worried about, you know, who like yourself and remaining safe.
I sent what you were looking for, Ethan, about Nier, where he said it's too late.
Here, look at this. She went to Ireland
Bro, what the fuck?
to escape their harassment, and these freaks actually found out where she lives. Why is this not loading? They found out where she lives and continued their harassment based on...
Oh my god.
Wait, I thought it was like a food picture.
No. It's that picture at the top.
Yeah, somebody said that they figured out the hotel that she was at based on a picture of like her cat in there. I kind of feel like that probably didn't happen in that way. I'm sure that they did dox her, but based off that picture, there's probably more to it than just that. Because there's no fucking way that they could possibly figure that out based off of a fucking picture.
Picture of the cat.
Yeah, and you see how you can see just a little bit of the sheets. That was enough for them to figure
Oh
out
my god.
what hotel.
Unless there's only like one hotel in the area. There's only one hotel with white stuff in the area. Every other hotel, it's different. I don't know. I mean, it's possible, I guess. It's possible.
It was that she was.
But there was
saying.
one she posted of like her lunch too on her bed. Remember? Did you see that one? That one was
might be
insane,
right.
bro.
Why don't I bring her in and we can ask her?
Here's the note that Nier left. It's too late for me, but I pray that someone at some point will do something about that website. There's too many people suffering, and no one seems to care because we are relatively nobody's online, and they know that. Evil triumphs when good men do nothing. Keffals, welcome. Hello,
Hi.
how are you?
All right.
Hey, it's nice to meet you all.
Wow, your mic is very loud. Please fix that, guys. Please. Love of Jesus Christ.
Nice to
meet you
meet
too.
you. So, how's it going?
I'm turning this down a little bit. Holy fuck. It's not really her fault. It's kind of their fault for not balancing the audio, but...
Never thought that the first time that I went to the United Kingdom, because I'm in Northern Ireland right now, would be the week that the Queen dies, but
Whoa, Keffals killed the Queen. Based, guys. Dude, there's so much hate for the Queen on the internet. It's crazy. I personally don't care because I think English people are stupid as fuck for still having a queen, you know? Like, that's just weird. But, you know, it's kind of fucked up that she just died and everybody's shitting on her. You know, the worst thing that they did to the Queen was, though, is that Trisha Paytas named her baby after the Queen, which is horrible. I mean, let's be honest here. That's the worst thing that ever happened to that poor woman. But, you know, that's life, I guess.
God, it's been interesting.
So, are you there now, or did you return home?
I'm still in Northern Ireland.
Yeah, and do people know where you're living now, or are you able to keep that a secret?
No,
Well, she just said she's in Northern Ireland. Oh, I guess she's not able to do that.
I can't. But like I've been swatted multiple times while I've been here already.
Oh my
but
God.
It was all swatting attempts. The cops never pulled a gun on me, unlike what happened in Canada.
Why did I die?
But it's happened so many times now that the cops don't even take the calls seriously.
Who's scarier? The Irish? Are the Irish police cool about that stuff? Because like in America, you
Gotta work about the IRA, bro. The Irish Revolutionary something or whatever it's called. That's what you gotta really be worried about, dude.
know they go crazy. Like the first time we got swatted, there was like 20 police cars. There's a fucking helicopter. They cased the
Oh,
whole house
damn.
with their guns drawn. It was pretty nuts. Like, are the Irish police cooler about it?
Oh yeah, no, like someone called in saying that there was a stabbing in the apartment I'm in, and they just sent 2 police officers and they were knocking at the door. Like compared to what happened in Canada when I got like an assault rifle pointed at me, that's nothing. Cops are playing with the cat here.
That's interesting that the Canadians are also so militarized, the police there. I didn't realize.
Oh my God. This whole thing has been insane. Like the last month and a half.
So to walk me through, I want to take it kind of from the top. Like, how did you initially get into this? I don't want to call it a beef because it's like that kind of.
I will say, the police department spoke out Um, I wonder if I could find that. I wonder if I could find the police, because the police department directly said, like, hey, some of the things that she was saying was very out of context and, like, misleading about the swatting, which exists. I don't know exactly what they said. I read it a while ago. She might have played it up a little bit. I'm not saying it didn't happen to her. I don't know if I could find the police responses. If somebody could, like, direct me to that, I would like to read it. That's what I'm mostly curious in it, because it was like a little bit of like a contradictory thing. I wonder if somebody could find that for me. That would be nice.
Kind of downplays what it is, but into the spat with Kiwi Farms.
So they started a thread on me on March 25th, and like, you know how that goes. They started off, they doxed my mother, they doxed me, they started doxing other members of my family. They doxed like 8 of my Twitch mods.
You know what is kind of fucked up, and this is one of the things that makes like me very skeptical about some people that like talk about like Keffals in like the worst way. Is that I think it might have actually been Destiny. It was like, you know what, hot take, but getting doxed really isn't that big of a deal. And it's like, I don't know. I feel like when we're getting to the point where we're like, you know what, doxing isn't so bad anymore. Like if we're gonna get to that point over somebody, I think that maybe not the most reliable source of information for Keffals stuff. That's what gets me. I was like, dude, like I'll see some people say like some fucking wild shit like that. Like, oh, it's not so bad. Maybe it's not, but like it's doxing. I feel like that's fucked up. Or they'll say some shit. They'll say some shit like her getting Kiwi Farms taken down technically is actually worse because now it's this out of the Wayback Machine and it's this, that. It's like, holy fuck. I just feel like that's why it's so difficult to just take people's words for it. Plus, I know how shit on the internet works. Like, if a group of people don't like somebody, then like they're gonna be as bad faith as possible. So, you know.
Wow.
And you know, but after that, it was just harassment for months up until August 5th, when someone impersonated me in an email and sent it to every local politician saying, "I have an illegal firearm and I'm gonna go kill every cisgender person I see at City Hall." So.
Wow. Well, that would be transphobic, because how do you know they're actually cisgendered? What if they're actually trans? You know? Fucked up, Keffals. I can't believe you make that threat.
Yeah, I wake up and the SWAT team arrests me. They take me into custody and get a search warrant. They take all my computers, my phones, everything. So at that point, it's like, I stream for a living, and they just took my way of earning a living away. So yeah, I decided that I would go to the media. I would talk about it. And,
That's incredible how much damage they did. You know, I've heard of swatting, but actually getting you arrested, getting the warrant and confiscated, that's pretty next level. It's just surprising.
Takes a lot of devotion. Am I right, Ethan? They do a real... The way he talked about it was like, yeah, they did. I'm almost impressed.
Dude, that this website is like legal. I mean, where's the legal and illegal? Where's that line? I mean, where they're actually doing illegal things. So how's the website allowed to stay up? Are you familiar with the legality of that?
Only vaguely, because it's all American law, and I'm unfortunately Canadian.
Unfortunately,
as far as I understand, it's Section 230. So the owner of the website isn't responsible for the actions of the users.
Yeah, even if they're doing illegal stuff, or it seems to be, you know,
like,
it's pretty dumb.
The whole purpose of the website is to allow for those things to happen. It's weird.
Well, especially because the owner seems to be engaging in it, or specifically allowing it. So, golly, there's got to be some legal. I hope there's some legal repercussions for him. So, what happened after you got basically a warrant and all of your stuff confiscated? You went to the prison, or you got held in some kind of jail?
Oh, yeah. I just got held in a holding cell for like 11 hours, and then they released me with no charges, but they wouldn't give me my stuff back.
Really?
And the attorney that was representing me said that the process of going through digital forensics could take months.
Oh my God.
So I was really freaked out. I eventually got my stuff back in like 3 days and got an apology from the chief of police.
That's nice.
So yeah, that was really nice. Not nice how they responded to the situation, but I'll take it.
When you decided to go and talk to the media about it, how do you get that done? Like, who would actually listen?
It actually went pretty big. Like, it started with like the local press, and then it made its way to like provincial and then national press in Canada.
The fuck is this? I'm gonna die.
But then it just kind of kept going, because like I knew by coming forward with that meant I had to confirm where I lived. So I left. I didn't want that to happen again. That was terrifying. So I went to a hotel, and yeah, Ethan already brought up what happened at the hotel. Brought my cat there, and they found out the bed sheets. They started ordering pizzas to the hotel in my dead name just to let me know they know where I am.
God.
Hey, at least you get free pizza, am I right, guys? Shit, based.
And that's got to make you feel unsafe, right? When they're like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, I mean, like, you know, I'm a pretty visible trans person online. I'm used to people saying mean things to me all the time. But when it escalates to the point where they're trying to let me know they know where I am and they're willing to weaponize the police, that's when it gets actually scary.
Yeah, I mean, well, we kept getting spotted at our old house, so we moved. We were scared as shit. So
Yeah.
I know that feeling, and I think it's obviously way more intense for you.
Yeah.
So you went to prison. You came back. You got your stuff back. So what kind of happened from there? You're back in your house. You got your computers. Do you go streaming? Do you go to a hotel? What happens in the immediate aftermath?
Okay, so like after I got out, I didn't get my stuff back. Like I spent the next several days thinking, all right, like how do I tell the story in order to get people to listen?
You know, one thing I want to say about this is like it's actually like I know a lot of people are crying about, you know, whatever, Ethan talking to Keffals, but also it's actually pretty good because it just seems like Ethan's starting to talk to more people that aren't like profoundly super popular people that he would normally associate with, whether you like it or not. Like I wasn't a particular fan of the way he represented himself when he had to talk with Gideon, but it was like, oh, he's starting to talk to more and more people. He's starting to talk to Keffals. Like it's kind of nice that he's starting to reach out and actually do commentary with some people, like not just people that are mainstream. You know, every other fucking episode where Whitney Cummings come, you know what I mean?
And so I just like kind of spent days thinking like, how do I do this? And I got something together. I got together with like some of my friends, and we were able to start a campaign around that to pressure the police basically to give me my stuff back. Because I was still a suspect, even though I was the victim of a hate crime in that situation. Like someone's impersonating me. And in the email, they specifically made sure to include my dead name, so the police would also start calling me by my dead name. Like they wanted to humiliate me.
Yeah. Why do they hate? So just to go do an aside a little bit. So why is it that they targeted you and hated you so much?
You know, it didn't really start until I started covering politics on Twitch. Like I got really involved around the time that.
Is she gonna say it has something to do with Destiny? Because that would be kind of funny. Wait, did she say it was had to do with Destiny? Because I actually saw Destiny threaten to sue her for defamation of character because it's going too far now. So I wonder if she actually does say something like that.
Governor Abbott in Texas decided to have the parents of transgender youth investigated by Child Protective Services. And I just started covering all the other anti-trans bills, and I was getting into fights with like conservative pundits. And it really pissed them off. They really didn't like that.
I have a similar story. I know all about that. The minute I started talking about politics, we started getting like insane amounts of hate and scrutiny from the righties.
Well, no. You got scrutiny from more than just right-wing people. Let's be honest, Ethan. You just started parroting Hassan's perspective. Like, let's not pretend that like that's not like, come on. That's a little bit of a downplay, but okay. Okay, continue. So they didn't like you were talking about politics. So what happened? Kind of. How did you feel that they were unhappy? How did that first start manifesting like a harassment?
I think it's because like right now it's like we're in a culture war basically against trans people. Trans people are at the epicenter of this. And there's a lot of people right now convinced that if you support trans youth, you're a pedophile. And so they started this entire smear campaign to try and convince everyone I'm a pedophile and everything I'm doing is to support pedophilia. And any of the kids that I've supported in their transition are my grooming victims. It's been really fucked up, especially because I'm someone who came out when I was a minor. I understand what it's like to be in that position.
Yeah, they've been accusing you of being a pedophile and a groomer. Actually, what's kind of crazy is we've seen people echoing that a lot. Even when we said we'd have you on, some of our own fans were saying, "Don't have her on. She's a groomer." So, what would you say to them, kind of now that you have the opportunity to explain that accusation that they level against you?
Jesus Christ, my ass fucking.
I think the problem with it is people are using that word in two different ways. Like people have taken the word groomer, which means someone who is manipulating children into doing sex acts. And then they've made that word mean someone who supports trans people. But if you don't know the difference, it means the same thing, right?
I mean, I think
Well, everything's grooming nowadays, which is like fucking ridiculous. Everybody will call everything grooming nowadays, on the left and the right and the everything. It's fucking annoying, and it's fucking pathetic. Honestly, they just don't shut the fuck up. How like everything's grooming. Like these people are just really diminishing what that word actually means, like down to like nothing.
most people think of groomer as someone who's preparing I think that's the common usage, and I think
Yeah,
that's
like
what they're
manipulating
saying about you.
manipulating like a kid into sexual exploitation, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really frustrating because
Well, what are
I've
they saying?
never-
What are they basing it off of? Why are they saying that?
It's mostly the hormones for kids. Like that's where it comes from for a lot of people. So
are they saying it? There literally is no basis for saying it.
So let's see.
They think because
they claim that you had a Discord server with minors discussing sexual stuff.
yeah, I wonder what that was about.
I never had a Discord server where I discussed sexual stuff with minors.
And then they also say,
I think I saw a screenshot of like a random person saying stuff. I think it was weird. I don't remember this. There's so much weird information in different spots. I think she had a Discord and she said something but it wasn't really that big of a deal. I mean, like, if you guys want, send me whatever you want and I'll look at it on the stream. You want to do it before I end this video. But from what I saw, and again, maybe I don't have enough, it just seemed like it was a disproportionate interaction, how she was like, oh, let's do sexual stuff. Like, I feel like it was way beyond what people, like what I had saw didn't actually represent what people were claiming.
I guess one of their problems is that you are supporting young people, young trans people who didn't have access to hormones. You are telling them how to make homemade hormones.
Oh my god. No, I don't know how to make homemade hormones. I noticed the new thing is they're saying that I'm teaching people how to make hormones in their bathtub, which just sounds insane.
That sounds difficult. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't know
how do you do that?
I think you'd have to be like a pretty talented chemist, or if that's even possible. I don't know. So, yeah, I mean, that's the stuff that people are saying.
Well, I hope that they push her at least on like the like trying to provide access to young people for hormones, because that one I believe is like that one is true. Like she is trying to do that. I don't, not to like get a gotcha. I would like to know what Ethan thinks about this topic. Like, how do you feel about that is really what I'm curious about more than anything else. I feel like that's a reasonable curiosity.
But what's the truth? I mean, you do have some kind of community where you're helping young trans
yeah,
people,
there we
right?
go. Yeah,
that's like
yeah.
something you're
of
passionate
course.
about.
In what way?
I mean, yeah, it's something that I've been really passionate about because all of these laws ended up coming out and it really hurts me on a personal level. Like, I knew what it was like growing up, like in 2011, coming out at 16, and it seemed like the whole world's against you. But things are worse now than they were then. Like back then, no one knew what a trans person was. Now it's like everyone does. And in one way, that visibility is great, but in the other way, it means more people who are bigoted towards you can express that.
Yeah, that's true.
So when did you transition, and what?
I really hope we don't just kind of I hope that we don't just kind of like walk past the whole providing hormones to people online. I just really want to know what Ethan's perspective is. I don't know if he's like intentionally not talking about it, or what. Like, what's the like? How come we're not talking about it like a little deeper? I feel like there's more that could be said here. What the fuck's happening here? This is so annoying. I feel like there's a lot more that could be said here about that topic.
Age.
They really should push it. I mean,
I was 16.
And so the people that you're kind of advocating for or talking with, these are people who are like not finding support within their families and their communities, and kind of someone who doesn't have someone to lean on, to talk to get additional resources from. Is this the kind of thing that you're doing with them?
I would also, and like, this isn't me saying Ethan's shit or anything. I also wish he wouldn't ask like questions like that in that. So I know this is like really weird. I just wish that he was like, hey, so like, how does your helping of people, like, how does that work? How does like helping minors or whatever work, rather than explicitly, creating like a narrative that's probably, you know what I mean? Like, instead of asking like a leading question, be like, okay, so like, what does it look like when you help like, young trans people? Like, what does that care? And then be like, okay, okay, so you provide hormones. Like, do you think that maybe that's a little dangerous to not get with your doctor? And maybe, you know what I mean? Like, I wish that's just like a light criticism. I kind of wish that we would operate in that capacity, because it's very clear that like this interaction, is meant to be a bit generous to Keffals. And I get it. You don't want to just shit on Keffals. So I'm just saying, I just wish that it was a little bit more, exploratory rather than kind of guiding her in a general direction, you know?
I mean, some of them do actually have the support of their families, but some of them don't. Like, some of them are in like really fundamentalist Christian households, and the only place they really feel safe talking about being trans is on the internet.
And so where do you guys do this? Is it like a Discord or something, or like a community?
Oh, it's like a Twitch stream.
Oh, just on Twitch?
Yeah.
So it's all just out in the public?
Yeah.
Because they make it sound like you have some kind of secret or some community.
I think she does have a Discord
Spot that's not publicly seen where you're talking with kids and stuff, but that's not even the case.
No.
Wow, that's interesting. They really are just straight up lying, huh? Shouldn't surprise me that much, but yeah.
These people are the type of people who harass people to
there's it sounds like there's probably stuff Keffals isn't being 100% truthful about. It seems like most of the stuff that people go after Keffals for is an exaggeration of what's actually going on. So again, you guys can send me whatever you want to send, but like she said something that really wasn't that sexual at all in the Discord, and then people acted like she was trying to groom kids off of that. I was like, what the fuck? Like, and so like some of the, like, it does seem like they do have a Discord community, but she's like, yeah, it's all in the open. It's probably not. I mean, Discord is generally kind of open though, so I guess you could, you know what I mean? But it feels like she's just, I guess, overcorrecting. She's going too far to try to prove her innocence by just kind of leaving out some information potentially.
To the point where they unalive
Catboy Ranch, was that what it was? It was a Catboy Ranch thing. Was that what it was? Like something stupid like that. See, that's like dumb. You know what I mean? That was fucking stupid.
themselves. They try not to take what they say with a grain of salt. Well, I don't know the expression. You know,
take it with a grain of salt. Yeah.
What I mean.
So do you think that was their goal with you? Probably
honestly,
like
yeah. Because I see them talk about other trans people, and the first thing is they don't want trans people to even exist. Like, you look through the kind of stuff they say, and they're advocating for a higher unaliving rate for trans people, like unironically.
Which is already like super high, right? I mean, the percentage of trans people that attempt to unalive themselves is like insanely high, right? It's like 1 out of 3.
I
don't know if it's 1 out of 3. I think it's like 41%. Isn't that the meme? Isn't the meme like 41%?
actually don't know what the recent statistic was. The one thing that I always thought was kind of funny, well, not funny, sad actually. There was that old statistic, like 41% suicide attempt rates. And from what I remember, it was actually like a trans youth suicide attempt rate. But the more supports that they had, like supportive families or access to medical care, that rate dropped significantly.
Yeah, I think that's so important to understand about what trans people go through. I saw that too. That when they have support of their family or friends, or even, I think the study even said, if they just have one person in their life, family, friend, whoever, that they can talk to about it, the rate of unaliving goes down significantly.
What the fuck is happening in this game? I wonder where you got that from. I'm just curious. I'm not saying it's not true. I just wonder where it's from.
I can imagine even just a Twitch streamer to watch and talk about it is probably really significant.
Right. It says, the data I have says 82% of trans individuals have considered unaliving themselves.
That doesn't surprise me.
As of this year, 40% have attempted to unalive. I mean, that's just so fucking, that's just so horrible that our society is so fucked up like that. Yeah. Man. Well, so let's get back to the timeline.
Oh, of course.
So you went back to your house. You got your stuff back. You got the apology from the police, which is nice. So what happens from that point?
That was the
at least we didn't go into like this weird like anti-police like take, you know? So I guess that's good.
Point where I decided that I didn't feel safe in my house. So I decided to move to a hotel room.
Yeah, so you went to the hotel room, you posted a picture of your cat. They somehow figured that out. I mean, these people, they're fucked up, but they have this freakish talent. They're like insanely good at doxing people. I mean, it's almost like
it's almost impressive. Like, what? I guess so, kinda.
You're giving them too much credit. I live in a small city and there's like 5 hotels and only one of them had like that specific spread of bedsheet.
Wasn't there another one though where you posted like a picture of your lunch and then they figured out?
Oh, okay. So what happened? So like after what happened in that hotel room, I was like, okay, I'm going to be sneaky. They're not going to find me this time. So I said I was going to stay in some Airbnbs until I found a new apartment. And I decided instead to go to a different hotel and start streaming with the green screen. And what ended up happening was, I think it was after a week, my Uber account got hacked. And my mom's Uber account got hacked, and my brother's Uber account got hacked. And we all got the same.
How the fuck do you hack an Uber account, though? How do you even do that? That's so weird.
Message, like this like this automated voice telling us that we got doxxed, all of our information was posted online because someone has it out for us, and that it's not a threat, but that we should be careful.
That came through the app?
It came through, it was like, you know, like one of those, I don't know the name for the type of voice.
It's like the
AI voice.
Yeah, but where did it come from? What app did it come from on your phone?
Oh no, it was just a regular call because they got our phone numbers when they hacked our Uber accounts.
Oh, they gave you a call?
You guys and played it?
Yeah, that's how they were able to get our addresses, because they had the entire order history on all of those accounts.
Wow.
Damn, that's...
Wait, so I'm a little confused about what's... Are we saying that, like, Uber called them and said, hey, there's been, like, a breach in our security or something? What?
So nuts, man.
Yeah.
So you go into one hotel, they find out where you are, and then what happens there? You go to another hotel?
Yeah, I went to that hotel. My Uber gets hacked. And at that point, I'm just like, okay, I was really upset because it's like my family is collateral in harassing me at this point.
Yeah, somebody got her number from the Uber. So was it like a virtuous troll that's like, we got your number, please, it's like, save yourself? Is that what we're talking about?
So I was like, okay, I'm going to stay with my friend in Northern Ireland. So I got on a plane, I go to Northern Ireland.
I just personally wouldn't tell people. I the only thing that gets me a little bit, it's like, why would you tell people where you're going if you're like, you know, if you're so afraid? I'm not saying that you're not afraid. I'm just saying, like, it seems like kind of a dumb move to do. Be like, I'm going to Northern Ireland. It's like, well, I personally wouldn't be telling people that.
And I do a stream there. And within a day, they figure out where we're staying here as well.
How'd they do
Pizza
that?
starts showing up at the door.
That's insane.
So our best guess, because there was no way that they could have figured out the unit number. They said it was because of the door handles, but it doesn't make sense. And we think that my host, one of her accounts got hacked that had her address.
These people are so nuts.
Oh, yeah.
Dedicated, man.
I can only imagine that will really drive a person crazy. Like, the amount of harassment.
Yeah. It was like, yeah, at that point, I started the campaign because I wanted to get Cloudflare to drop Kiwi farms, because I didn't know what to do, because if the site kept going, that was just going to be my life.
Yeah.
Like you're a really big content creator, Ethan. You got like millions.
Wow, I can't believe she's being so fat phobic right now.
Of subscribers, but your thread was like 500 pages. Mine is like 2,200 pages.
Okay,
like,
that's what I was
to
wondering.
harass
So,
me.
2,200. Holy fuck.
Yeah,
dude.
no, they fucking hate me. Wait, can I swear on here?
Yeah,
you
it's
can,
okay.
yeah, you can say
Okay.
that. So
Yeah.
you go to Ireland, Northern Ireland. They dox you again. Is that when you start this campaign? You were like, well, I'm just going to go to war with this website.
Yeah.
And so you
Like,
so bad
basically,
this
why
game.
did you target, first of all, Cloudflare?
There were multiple companies that I wanted to target. Cloudflare was the one that I chose first because it was the biggest one. And I knew that in the past, Cloudflare had dropped other hate sites like the Daily Stormer and 8chan. So I thought there would be a pretty good chance that they would also drop Kiwi farms.
So when you starting that campaign, that must have really fucking, if they hated you then, you're threatening their whole existence, right, on the internet, their whole safe place to try to make people unalive themselves.
Yeah.
So it must have intensified. Did you experience like intense harassment during that time? Or, I mean, was there nothing more they could do?
Yeah, I mean, like someone even came to the apartment in Ireland and they took a photo.
Yeah, it's just like these weird. It's not. He's not doing it to be a bad person, but there's a lot of these questions. I would have just liked him to say, like, okay, so what was the result of this, instead of priming the question so hard. Give people like the ability to kind of like explore what actually happened to them, rather than like basically, you know, he just does it every so often, and it generally puts me off a little bit.
Photo outside the apartment with a note, calling me a transphobic slur, telling me to get out of their community.
Because that line of questioning is what led to he was talking to that girl who was telling their story about Fresh and Fit, and like he kept asking these like priming questions, which like led to her, you know, saying something that Ethan interpreted, or I will say misinterpreted, as sexual assault. And so like maybe if he didn't ask such leading questions, he might not have like put her in the position where she said that, you know, like instead being able to be like more exploratory about how she actually felt, rather than be like, oh, well, were you scared? Or is it like, hey, well, how did that make you feel? You know what I mean? And it's not like a huge like horrible criticism. It's just something to bring up for context.
And then they had a whole bunch of Kiwi Farms nerd shit on the letter that's like indecipherable to anyone who goes outside.
Well, what the fuck is happening here?
So I was following this. You were actually getting a lot of momentum here to get this website taken down by Cloudflare. And eventually the owner of Cloudflare put out a statement. He said, we're not going to do anything We had taken down the Daily Stormer, which is like a white supremacist website in the past, and he regretted it
Really?
because he doesn't want to be the arbiter of like what websites stay and what websites go. But
Okay, I guess I get that.
it turned out only like a day or two later, he did take it offline. What happened in between those two time periods?
He might have just realized that it was like worse than he thought. So
What he said, because when it went offline, there was a big block screen that said this website presents an imminent and emergency threat to human life and has been blocked by Cloudflare security services.
Jesus Christ.
And he put out a big statement that was basically stating in the last 48 hours, the threats had intensified to the point where multiple law enforcement services had to get involved, and they weren't able to keep up with how many threats were happening. Like, they made 2 different bomb threats against me, and I'm in Northern Ireland. Like, now
hey, if they were bath bomb threats, at least you can take a nice relaxing bath. Am I right, guys?
the history here
Not a good place to
is
make
just
bomb
like,
threats. Yeah.
yeah, not the place.
Yeah, I saw actually.
Better be careful there if you're in Ireland, or the fucking Candyman will come and get you. You know what I mean? You gotta be real careful with that one.
It's pretty incredible. It was almost like they undid themselves to your end, because I saw a lot of stuff on Kiwi Farms of them just making straight up death threats against you, like credible death threats with your address. And I think at that point the owner was like, okay, now I have a reason at least to stop supporting them. And kind of interesting that they got themselves shut down in a way and achieved your goal for you.
I think it was a few things. The site has kind of been in relative obscurity for the majority of the time that it's existed. And they got pretty emboldened over the years. Like, they didn't get shut down over what happened with the Christchurch massacre or the multiple people unaliving themselves or any of the crazy shit that they got involved in. But not only that, even though it took a whole bunch of horrible stuff happening to someone who already had like a pretty visible presence online, people have been trying to get the site offline for like a decade. So there was so much backing when I started this.
It's so true. It's such a win.
Older dude, what the fuck, bro?
For the world. I mean, these people are just demons, man. They're just harassing everybody to no end. I want to give you an opportunity to talk about this, because there's people who are pointing this out, that on your website, keffals.gg, you have a link here that says do it DIYHRT.
Yeah, do it yourself.
So
hormones,
it's a website where people can learn about DIY hormones. Basically, if you're in a situation, you live in a state where there's no healthcare provider and you're forced to do that yourself, like find it like at a pharmacy in a different country. It's a resource that's available.
So when it says do it yourself, what does that mean though? You're not there. That almost implies you're making the.
It means that you're figuring out how to find these hormones through like back channels to take it. And like the way that Keffals describes it makes sense. Like, hey, listen, it's for people who like have gender dysphoria and like maybe they can't get a diagnosis. They might live in like a really red state, blah, 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 blah. And I totally get that. And this gives them like access to it. But then at the other hand, it could like, you know, it also provides the potential for some people. It might be a young person that's confused about their identity, may not even have gender dysphoria. And now they have the ability to kind of self-diagnose and self-medicate. And I don't blame, like, I'm not saying that Keffals is a bad person for it, you know, based on the way that she's talking about it, like her intentions are positive, and I totally get it. But I feel like it gets very dangerous when we go down that route. But I suppose the actual solution, right, would be to make it so people can actually, you know, get proper diagnoses and whatnot. But that's where I get like a little bit apprehensive about this whole do-it-yourself thing. But it's one of those things. It's one of those things where it's like she doesn't mean like poorly. You know what I mean? Like she means very well for what she's doing. And that's one of those things I think people should understand.
Hormones.
No, you don't make the hormones.
Okay, so I think it's just a misnomer there.
Yeah, no. When it's do it yourself, it's like you have to get the prescription yourself because there's no doctor available.
That makes sense. So
yeah,
I think
the reason that it's offered, because I feel like people really misunderstand the point.
Mm-hmm.
It's a last resort sort of thing. You should absolutely see a doctor if you can, but for a lot of people, they can't see a doctor.
That makes sense. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So guys, there is no homemade hormones happening here. There it is.
Yeah, like I've seen an endocrinologist the last 11 years. If you have access, absolutely do it. It's the better route.
Right, but if you don't, doing something drastic like this is going to improve your mental health and
could improve your mental health. I just think that we should be very careful about advocating for do-it-yourself hormones, personally.
Possibly save your life, right?
Yeah, of course. And
Yeah.
it's like, if you're diabetic and, you know, there's no price cap on insulin in the United States. So a lot of people really struggle to afford it. I feel like people wouldn't really have that much outrage if Americans are crossing the border to get Canadian insulin because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you know, is that what's happening here though? Because my understanding is, I mean, okay, so I don't know. Maybe I'm just confused. Because if you're seeing a doctor that could prescribe you these hormones, I feel like if you okay, I'm just trying to like articulate this because it's a weird situation. Insulin's very expensive, right? So like, really, I take insulin. It's very expensive. I don't pay that much for it because I have really good insurance, you know. So fuck you, poor people. But it's very expensive. Insulin's very expensive, and so I could see you going to a doctor and like you need insulin, and then being like, "Oh, I can't afford, you know, however, like $100 for a fucking, you know, 300 unit fucking vial for this a month." That's insane. If not more than that. But is that what's happening with gender dysphoria? Is it that they are able to get the care but not the prescription? Because I feel like testosterone or whatever you might need is probably not as expensive. So I feel like this is more for people. Is it an expense thing where it's like, oh, these hormones are too expensive? Because a lot of the cost for gender affirming care, my understanding, really comes from surgeries. So I feel like, and I could be wrong, but for the most part, it's just like you're not able to get the diagnosis because you're in a more conservative area that's not going to allow you to get it. And so you're almost self-diagnosing at that point. Because I feel like hormones are somewhat inexpensive. I could just be uneducated on it, but I don't think it's like directly whatever, you know? I don't think that it's like, I don't think that these are directly analogous. At all. I don't think that these two things are the same. I feel like a lot of the do-it-yourself hormones are almost for people. It's like self-diagnosing. Yeah. I don't know. I know you guys are talking about like testosterone and say, hey, thanks for this. I gotta pause this.
Anonymous Brown just resubscribed for 21 months.
Thank you so much for that, brother. You know what's so funny about some people talking about the about testosterone and stuff? It's that like the people who are like really into weightlifting, actually some of them take insulin as well to like increase the absorption rate, I believe, of like the food into your body or something like that. Isn't that weird? Fucking you motherfuckers are crazy. Yeah.
But if we can consider like transgender healthcare as healthcare, I don't see what the big problem actually is.
I don't have a problem with it, but I think it's
Oh, yeah.
I think it's great what you're doing is helping people in need and potentially saving lives. I think it's just the psychos that think that like you decided to be trans just because you want to be different or something.
How much of what she's saying is honest? I truly wonder. It's hard to get through there. I mean, I don't think that there's anything that Ethan could necessarily like reasonably look through to figure out if she's being directly honest, because there's so much lore, and he's not going to take Destiny's word for it. I understand why you wouldn't do that either, because Destiny's bisexual, and like bisexual people can't be trusted. But but I wonder where I wonder. You know, like where would you be able to get all this information? Because most of the anti-Keffals shit is from like the commentary bros and people like that, and it you know, I don't know, you know, all proof is scrubbed from the internet. Yeah, oh, Keffals got it removed. Oh, well then she's pretty good at this. I guess she's pretty good at it, doing whatever she's doing. But yeah, I guess like what else would you really do?
The theory I don't even fucking get.
Oh. No, being trans has made my life significantly harder.
Yeah, I don't think that's like something that people seek out to live out. But so we got him dropped from Cloudflare, but that's why. What's significant about that?
Say we got him dropped. What did you do? What the fuck?
They just go to another hosting.
Okay, so they didn't get dropped from their host. I think they changed hosts recently. But what happened? They got dropped from Cloudflare, and they got the site back up immediately under a Russian domain and with a Russian DDoS protection service. And then they got dropped in less than 24 hours and the site was offline again.
Wow.
Any idea why the Russians dropped them? That's interesting that they even cared.
Oh, they put out a statement. They said that Kiwi Farms broke their acceptable use policy.
Wow.
I think it's because maybe these companies aren't used to a pressure campaign to drop a website like this. Like, I'm sure they're getting like hundreds of emails to drop this website.
Right. And they're just like, well, fuck it. I don't care about them.
Yeah. Like, what are we making from this that's worth this?
Right.
Wow. That's super interesting. But so Cloudflare, as I know, it's a DDoS, right? So there's probably people who
Yeah.
are continuously trying to take Kiwi farms offline by DDoSing them, which is when you overwhelm a site with requests, making it basically inaccessible.
It's fucked up. People used to do that to like World of Warcraft. Dude, it's actually funny. I believe when all the allegations came out against WoW, I believe, I could be wrong, they were like with like really bad work environment, et cetera, et cetera. I think that they got DDoSed. It was like horrible. It was kind of funny though, for being such a shit company.
And so
I don't think it was because the women got harassed though. I think that they just wanted to. I think it was more because the game sucks, which is unfortunate. You know, it's like hey, harassing women, that's okay, but when you make the game shit, now you've gone too far. And honestly, I can't, you know, the game is pretty bad. I could let some sexism go, you know. As long as the game's good. No, I'm just kidding. They did some horrible shit. Apparently, one guy dated like his coworker, or his subordinate, and then like leaked her nudes to the office, and then she took her own life, which is some fucking horror. That's my understanding. That was horrible shit. That's a real scumfuck company. I mean, I only started playing WoW again only because like they're selling to Microsoft or something. But one of the responses, you know, one of the responses that they gave was they're like, we're gonna remove the pictures of girls in the game. That's what they were supposed to. So there was like pictures in like there's like an instance there's a place in the game. I don't want to say it for the normies. There's a place in the game where it's like a big mansion of like it's like a little haunted mansion almost, and there are like pictures of like concubines on the wall, booby girls out there. There's nothing super provocative in any capacity. It's a fucking old like a 2003 video game. And they removed that and changed it with fruit. That was their response to that. So pretty cool how they're going from women being sexualized in the pictures to gay men. It's like, crazy. I'm just kidding. But they changed it to pictures of fruit as if that was going to undo all the fucked up shit that they were doing.
Cloudflare is a service that prevents DDoSing. So when you get dropped from that and you get dropped from the Russian counterpart, they basically are unable to go back up online, right? And that's where we are now.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
They found another one, but it's really unreliable. And basically since that, the site has just been intermittently online. Apparently Joshua Moon was really plugging his cryptocurrency accounts in the Telegram today. He's banned from like PayPal and Visa and MasterCard, so it's all he has.
Wait, when did he get banned from all that stuff? Was that a recent development?
I think that was during the Christchurch stuff.
Okay, so this guy's he's a well-known piece of shit.
Caterpillar.
Yeah, when the site, when they got dropped from Cloudflare and then DDoS Guard, he put out a statement saying that he thinks that the future of the site is going to be like what happened to either the Daily Stormer or 8chan, where what happened with the Daily Stormers, they continuously get dropped and they're held together with twine and duct tape, jumping host to host and domain to domain to keep online, or 8chan, where they had to go off the clear net entirely. But the problem with doing that and going on the dark net is you can't reliably protect yourself from DDoS attacks. And I don't encourage illegal behavior, but Joshua Moon is a piece of shit, and he's made a lot of really bad enemies over the years.
Right.
Yeah, I don't feel too bad for him. His website getting DDoS there. Not shedding any tears about that. So what do you think? You think the website's off for good now? I mean, if the website was kiwifarms.net, right? Kiwifarms.net, and right now it's off, just completely offline. There's nothing there.
Fuck is his boss? Oh shit.
You know, I don't know what's going to happen, but I know that it doesn't really look good for the future. There's no big companies that are reliable that are willing to support them.
Yeah.
And even though I ended the campaign I started, I ended after 6 days after DDoS Guard dropped them. But that didn't stop the people trying to pressure the other companies that have picked up Kiwi farms. So I'm seeing people going at it all day.
That's good. That's a good. I think it's a valiant fight, man. Those people are. I mean, how does a website even exist? Just like dedicated to hating everyone and everything to the nth level, where it's like we don't just hate this person, we actively trying to fucking ruin their life.
I mean, people unalive themselves already.
Yeah.
And citing that website as a cause, like how is it still going?
They love it, man.
I think it's just because they don't have anything good in their lives, you know? Like, they want to knock other people down so they feel better about themselves.
Yeah, it's like textbook bullying, but all the worst people in the world found a home.
You know, not for nothing, because like I feel like that's not textbook bullying, and this isn't like a huge point, but okay. So we have this idea, like in movies, where it's like the bully will pick on somebody because they have problems at their own home. I feel like most of the time people bully because they just think it's funny, and they want to pick on somebody. Oh shit, what the fuck? And that's it. I don't think it's always that deep. I think we got this idea that it's so deep and from like movies and shit. And it's really not necessarily that deep. Most people are just assholes. And then like another cope we have is like, yeah, the bullies end up doing poorly in the long run. Bullies end up outperforming the people they bully like in every instance. So it's not fucking crazy. The moral of the story is just bully a lot, and you'll be when you bully somebody, you're putting them down, so they're less likely to succeed in life. Which means that you're gonna have more opportunities to succeed in your life. So the moral of the story is you probably should bully everybody. It's gonna be better for your life. Don't bully. Don't be a piece of shit. You shouldn't bully anybody. But it is unfortunate.
In a website like this.
Are you feeling, has your life kind of become a little bit more calm since this happened, or not really?
Like, honestly, like after they got dropped from the second DDoS protection, I felt like a huge weight dropped off my shoulders, because it's at this point they're basically just trying to keep themselves online. And Joshua Moon put out a statement saying, ignore the Twitter people, stop trying to troll them, your statements are getting us dropped from hosts.
That's awesome.
That's funny.
Yeah. They locked all of the threads for all of the organizers of the Drop Kiwi Farms campaign because we were posting the shit they were saying about us on Twitter and making people more mad.
Yeah. So basically, has the harassment stopped? Are you still, I mean, you've won. Are they, I mean, surely they're angry, but I wonder, since they've lost a central place to congregate, if the harassment has eased.
Honestly, I'm still getting harassed, and I want to go back to what my life was like before this, when I just reacted to politics on Twitch. And I feel like that's probably never going to go away. But I can accept that as long as they're not trying to figure out where I live and post it online and send SWAT teams to my house and harass my family.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Well, listen, if you feel the need to harass my family, make sure it's my cousin, okay? My cousin, her... I don't want to say like her name, just on the off chance that you fucking psychopaths actually do something. Don't harass my family. Oh shit.
Well, it was a good fight, honestly. I mean, even whatever you achieved, what many thought was impossible, and I think I'm glad that website's gone. Fuck them, bro. That a lot of people are glad that website's down. So
it's wild to say, but you're saving lives,
so
basically.
Yeah. I don't think that's hyperbole.
Yeah.
Thanks. I had a lot of people reach out to me over this who were getting targeted by this site just to thank me for it. And it just meant a lot, because they went after so many fucking people over the years.
I think a lot of people probably are even scared to speak publicly about it, because then you make yourself a target. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that was actually a thing. Like, a lot of the journalists that I started speaking to about it were told that they shouldn't talk about it because there could be a Streisand effect, and then the site gets more popular. And I'm so glad they were wrong.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Wait, what? Hold on.
About it, we're told that they shouldn't talk about it because there could be a Streisand effect, and then the site gets more popular. And I'm...
Is that the Streisand effect? They shouldn't talk about it because there could be a Streisand effect? I think that the Streisand effect is like when you try to suppress something. It's a phenomenon where the attempt to suppress something only brings more attention to or notoriety to it. So I don't think them covering it would be considered a Streisand effect. I think what she meant to say is that they're told not to cover it so it wouldn't like give it more publicity. But that's not... It's not a big deal, but that's technically not the right thing.
So glad they were wrong.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, what's your plan now? What are you back to streaming from your new wherever you are now right now?
Just harass Italian.
Right now I'm just like trying to settle down now that the dust is settling, and I want to get back to streaming when I can. It's looking good. I'm actually, for the first time in over a month, optimistic about things.
That's great. Well, I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah.
I'm happy you have a place. You're feeling relatively safe, hopefully.
I'll be right back. My wife burned herself and she's upset. Let me go see if she's okay. Yeah, my wife burned herself in the oven. And she's like, oh, I burned myself in the oven. So I'm thinking, like, you burn your hand on the oven. Like, I figure like your hand or like your knuckle or something. I walk out there. This motherfucker has a welt. Like a circle on her fucking arm. I don't even know how to tell you. It's big. It's a big circle. A big circle. And she's like, I'm sorry. She's crying a little bit. She's like, I'm sorry that I pulled you away from the stream. So I poured her I helped her out a little bit. I gave her like an ice pack and stuff, and she was okay. But holy fuck, she fucked herself up, boy. Okay, let's get back to it then.
And I think you should get back to streaming as soon as you can. And Keffals on Twitch is where people can find you.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
And you discuss politics and all kinds of things. And fuck Kiwi farms forever.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
Yeah, have sex with all of them. They probably, if they had sex, they might actually not be so hateful and angry. A lot of them might be incels.
Well, thank you for your service. A soldier. You're a soldier.
Wait, I thought
in the online culture war. You're in the front lines. You're in the trenches, taking grenades. Oh, you know what we could do?
Oh, is that the
you know what
end
we
of
could do
this?
together since we're here? Should we have a Pride Minute together? Just I don't know if you know about our Pride Minutes, Keffals.
I don't know about the Pride. What's the Pride Minute?
Yeah, so Jordan Peterson was like, "What's with Pride Month? It's too long. Pride Day, more like it."
No.
Yeah. So we said, you know what, Jordan? A day is too much. Let's shorten it. A Pride Minute. So we like to celebrate Pride for 1 minute, and then quickly encourage people to get back in the closet afterwards. So
Okay.
would you like to celebrate a Pride Minute with us in your honor?
Okay.
Okay, absolutely.
All right, go ahead. During this Pride Minute, we like to encourage everybody to be their true self. You know, nobody should be able to judge you for who you are, right, Keffals? I mean, is there anything you want to say to the LGBTQ plus people out there during Pride Minute?
Yeah, absolutely. Never let anyone push you around.
Right.
Stand up against people who are bullying you,
Yeah.
who don't want you to be proud of who you are.
That's it.
Right.
I'm sorry, I was making a little joke, but then them playing the clapping emoji, clapping star at the end, like makes me feel like they felt the same way. You know what I mean? It's like, oh wow, I'm so brave. I'm sorry. It's just, I know it's a little shitty of me. It's just funny.
We're so much stronger when we stick together.
This is
solidarity.
This hate site was up.
I think Ethan means well, but this is coming off like a fucking horrendous meme. It's coming off like a fucking meme right now. Because they're playing like dance music in the background and shit. And she's trying to give like a really serious story. She's trying to give out like this super fucking serious story, and he's just playing some dumbass shit on it. This is fucking ridiculous. It's funny. It's just like seems a little bit inappropriate.
Yeah, it was up for 10 years, and we all came together and kicked its ass in a week.
Keep going.
Yeah. I'm hoping for a future where the trans community and the gay community and all of the different marginalized communities can come together and fight together and build a better future for all of us.
That is just right on. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to stop you there.
I'm not
Keffals.
gay no more.
All right.
I'm gonna have to stop you there. No more Pride, okay? Back in the closet.
I am not gay.
Oh my God.
Everyone,
Okay.
please. I invite you all to feel ashamed and
Okay.
of yourself now. Because
You don't want to let her finish like whatever speech she actually wants to give her.
we're back. Pride Minute is over. We can't have this conversation anymore, Keffals, because Pride Minute's over, and you should feel
right.
deeply ashamed now. So I'm sorry
Okay,
about
I'm
that.
going back in the closet. I guess I need a guy's name. Can I be Ethan too?
Sure. Be whatever you want. Just don't be trans anymore. It's deeply shameful.
Okay.
All right.
So Pride Minute, but thank you for celebrating that Pride Minute with us. That was a fun. That was a good moment we had. And we do like a Christian minute now after Pride Minute. Oh Lord,
Oh my lord.
Lord, may we
Really dragging the joke. Huh?
smite down these trans people.
On you.
Oh,
What is? This is not good, Ethan. You're really just beating this joke, beating the dead horse here.
oh Lord. They says that Pakistan is flooding.
It's the Holy Spirit.
That's from the trans, don't you know?
It's you.
Every time a man,
All right, Ethan. I think
every time a man takes a
somebody needs to put like a shock collar on this guy.
replacement
Holy fuck.
hormone,
I'm not gay no more.
a child drowns in Pakistan. Lord Jesus.
I felt gay.
Yes, sorry, I won't project it.
It's okay.
Yeah, I
It's
didn't
great.
know about this
Christian
minute.
We got Pride Minute, then you have Christian Minute.
Ethan has a lot of confidence. I'll give him that much because that was bad.
Okay.
Balance it out. Lord, every time a man kisses another man, a child dies in birth. Amen.
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 Come on now.
Yeah, maybe he's getting a little comfortable with this joke. Maybe he's just living through the joke. He's like, I really want to say this about trans people and gay people, and I just can't. So I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it ironically.
Every time a woman goes down on another woman,
All right, Ethan. All right.
a queen dies. Amen. Queen Elizabeth, rest in peace.
Amen.
Okay.
Anyway, Keffals, thank you so much for calling in. It's been a pleasure.
Oh yeah, this has been great.
I'm impressed and I'm proud of what you've achieved. It's really something. It really is something. I mean, it's heroic. I got to say it. It is.
Well, let's just hope this is the start.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. And so Twitch, guys, you can follow Keffals on Twitch. Hopefully, you'll be back online soon, and you guys can all enjoy her content there. But thank you so much for calling.
Yeah.
It was so nice to talk to you, and thanks for spending your time with us here.
Stay strong.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And,
Thank all of you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank
Take care
you.
now.
All
Bye
right.
bye.
Well,
Back in the closet.
No.
5 minutes is over. Hey man. Every time a podcast host talks to a train.
All right. Well, Keffals is gone, so we don't have to suffer through this anymore. All right. Con interview wasn't too bad. There might have been there are some areas I feel like he may not have got. I don't know. I feel like the pushing on what the hormones were could have been better, but I also don't know where you would be able to find the information to like talk about that correctly. You know what I mean? Like, what? I don't know how much research Ethan really could have done to like figure out what she was actually saying about hormones. I don't even know exactly. My understanding is it's a little bit more than just like, hey, if you have diagnosed gender dysphoria, here's a way to get it cheaper. I don't think that was a particularly accurate representation of what she's trying to do. But yeah, overall, pretty good conversation. I think it was decent. It was nice to see Ethan talk to somebody that wasn't like super mainstream. Hopefully that happens more. You know, maybe we'll eventually see Papa God on there. Probably not, because I criticize him too much. So I'm too based for that. I'm too based. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and another special shout out to all my Patreon and Twitch subs. If you'd like to support this channel further than you already have by just watching the video alone, go down to the links below where you can sub on my Patreon, which will allow you to get your name on this beautiful black wall. Or you can go to the Twitch page and you can actually use a free Amazon Prime sub, if you have Amazon Prime, to subscribe. Thank you very much, guys. Take care.